Well, hello, my beauties. Dumelambo Beauty. I'm Ntabi Singh, and welcome to the Beauties and the Bags YouTube channel. Here we're all about zero-based budgeting. We're all about cash stuffing, savings challenges, and it's just me sharing my journey with you guys, my financial journey, and what is it that I'm doing, what challenges am I facing. If there's anything new that I've learned, I come here and share it with you guys. Now, before we get into the business of the day, um, please do click on that subscribe button and like, comment, share, all those things. Please do them. Thank you. Now, as I was saying, today we're all about preparing for 2025. I decided to start now because you know what? I want to get used to how I want things to be like the following year. So at least if I have these 2 months that are remaining, the November and December, then to try out a few things that will be good for me. So that's what I'm doing, so that when it comes January, then I know what I need to change here and there to ensure that I work towards my goal. Now, um, the first thing that I would be doing is to just reflect on 2025, particularly when it comes to my finances. I do this with my life in general, but here obviously it's all about finances. So this is what I'm doing when it comes to my finances. I reflect. Now, I need to put it out there that I only started being serious about budgeting and finances later on this year. I think it was 7 years in, no, 7 months in, or 6 months in. So I'm still new when it comes to the budgeting community, the cash stuffing community, and all those things. So you would notice that what I'm reflecting on is things that I didn't do before I started with this financial journey that I'm on right now. So the first step, which was the hardest, was to check where was I? What went wrong? What went wrong? Is there anything that didn't go wrong before I started being intentional about my finances? So, with all areas, with all the steps that I'll be covering when it comes to reflecting upon 2024, all of them I've categorized into four, which is budgeting, savings and investments, tracking, and debt. I hope this is clear. Yeah, I still need to learn how to record and all those fun stuff, but yeah, I'm putting in the work. I'm trying. And yeah, so when it comes to budgeting, like I'm saying, I only started being intentional about my finances later on in the year. So basically, when I was doing my reflection, um, I started from January, or better yet, like throughout the years, and I realized that I was never intentional about my budget, my budgeting. Some years, and I can say the better half of this year, I only budgeted like once. Nakona, I would say my husband helped with that because he's very intentional and he's very serious about his numbers and budgets. So he did that for me because I told him that I'm really struggling with that, and he did it, and I stuck to that. Note, when we did the budget, I was just popping numbers out of my head based on what I saw previously. So even when I was giving him the numbers, they were not the exact numbers. For instance, some of my policies, let's say one policy last year, January, when I last checked, was 300 rands. And obviously, policies increase, their amounts increase annually. So it means that probably chances are sometime between last year, January, and this year, there has been an increase. But what I budgeted for was the old amount. So yeah, it was a mess. So when it comes to budgeting, I was not consistent, unrealistic. I think when it came to budgeting, for me, it was just about making sure that I stick to an amount that's below what I earn and have some money to spend. And that's just it. I was never really realistic. For all I know, I was overspending. For all I knew, I was underspending. And yeah, you'll soon realize where my mistakes were as I go on and explain to you what I've observed throughout this journey. And yeah, like I'm saying, I was never updated. I never stayed updated with my numbers. Some amounts went up, and I never. Oh, it's so hot, guys. I'm drinking some water. Pardon me. Yeah, so I never stayed updated. That's just about it. And then when it comes to saving, I undersaved tremendously, and I think the fact that I know the fact that I was never intentional about my budgeting and never really looked at it intensely and just sat down like I am right now with my budget. I never realized that I had enough. Or I always knew that I'm always falling short come month end. And that's because I'm overspending. I'm spending in areas where I'm not even supposed to be spending. And the amounts that I've budgeted for certain things are either higher or less. So it was just a mess. So once I started realizing that, you know what, if I do my budget, there is an amount that I can save. Because honestly speaking, I never thought that I had enough money to save all along. So when it comes to saving, I saved the bare minimum, and there was a lot to save. The other thing that I've also learned is that I've been using the wrong savings account. I've been just saving in the normal savings account where you could just go and deduct money, and the percentage, the interest rates are just ridiculous. You know, there are a lot of banks that provide better interest rates, and I never really looked up my options. I just went with what I had, which is the bank that I'm currently banking with, and never looked at other banks. What is it that they offer, you know? And then same with in investing. I was never really informed. I think that's just something you have to be intentional about and just go out there and get information about investing. For me, it was all about saving. Investing, never really learned much about it. And now it's only now that I'm starting to. And yeah, with the one investment that I thought that is what everybody should have. Yeah, I've been doing very well with that, but there are a lot of ways that one can really um, improve on their investment portfolios, you know. And then another thing is that once I started joining this, no, yeah, no, this is actually supposed to be going to what I've learned and so forth. So the options and the games, I basically never did any fun games, honestly, because I didn't know about them and the saving options and whatnot. So the other thing that we have is tracking, which I never ever ever did. I was so terrified of my banking statements. I never wanted to look at them because the last time I did, I felt like crap. I didn't love myself. I felt, you know what, this is just draining my joy, the life out of me. So I'm never going to look at my statements again. I don't want to see the mess that I'm creating when it comes to my finances. So tracking was non-existent. I knew I have to check. And from time to time I would try, but what I do with that information afterwards, I mean, it's useless. Like I would collect receipts, I would just check my SMSs to see how much is it that I've spent on what, and then do what with the information, you know? So for me, when it comes to tracking for me was a no-go area. Not a no-go area as such, but it's something that I never considered, basically. And then when it comes to my debt, I realized that most of my debt was unnecessary. I never really had to have that debt because didn't go right in the first place. So I found myself incurring debt, which I never really had to if I had budgeted for, you know. Anyway, we've learned our lessons, and we move right along to what went right. Here, what went right is firstly the fact that I decided to be intentional about my finances. What went right is I went on YouTube and tried to find ways to improve my finances, and I came across the cash stuffing community, and I love it here. I absolutely love it here. I saw it, I was like, back then I didn't even have a budget there, but there was money in my account. I didn't even know if that money was for me to spend or not, but it was a good risk, good negligence, I guess, because I immediately got myself a binder and I started with my research, checked up a lot of girlies here. I think the first one that I saw was um I always get her name wrong, even when I type it. The pinkest cloth, the pink cloth. Oh, I love that lady. And then locally in South Africa, I was checking out Didi's Didi budgets, Didi's budgets, yeah, as well as this other one, Norma's Diaries or something like that. And yeah, I learned quite a lot from those girlies, and I just decided then and there that I'm gonna start. I'm starting now, and I did. So yeah, this is all when I started, when I bumped into the cash stuffing community, obviously. So what went right is that I decided to now be intentional about my finances. I keep on moving my hands. Forgot that it's all about the hands. Anyway, I started being intentional about my budget because I get my money um, once a month, which is month end. I sit down with my budget and just be honest to myself. I look at everything, the tracking. Is there anything that I'm under budgeting on? Is there anything that I'm over budgeting on? There are a lot of things that goes into budgeting, and I love the fact that sorry, pardon. Oh. I love the fact that I'm here now. I have a budget which is working for me, though I can acknowledge that it's work in progress, but I'm happy with where I am right now. So I am being intentional about my budgeting. I'm very much realistic and honest with my budgeting. It's not about just remaining under budget, but it's about just looking at all the numbers and ensuring that all the money goes somewhere. I'm no longer worried about where my money went come month end. I know exactly where my money went. I'm in control now, and I love it for myself. I forgot to mention that I decided to go with the zero-based budgeting method. Oh yeah, I mentioned it in the intro, but yes, I'm doing the zero-based budgeting method as well as the cash stuffing method, which is working wonders for me. I can't say that I've perfected it as yet. There's still a lot that I still need to learn. There's still a lot that I need to improve on, but where I am right now is much better than where I was before. And yes, I'm realistic and honest. I decided to create a template for myself, and that suits my finance, and that makes it easier for me and fun for me. You know, when something is just a template that you get from somewhere which doesn't really meet your needs, or it's just very difficult to work with, like it has percentages and whatnot. It just makes the whole process seem too much for yourself. It can become so overwhelming. So I created a template that I can easily understand. I don't do percentages. I'm not your numbers girl. Look, I created something that works for me. I don't need percentages. though there are certain instances like when you have to calculate your interest rates and whatnot, there I do know that I do have to know, but I do have to implement it. But if I don't need to, then why should I, you know? And then just make it fun for myself. I make this whole process fun. I do say, for instance, when I have time alone in the house, I can just easily go take a bath, make myself a nice cup of coffee. I love my coffee, and just sit with my budget, candlelight, and just romanticize the whole process. I love making it fun for myself. The other day, I just decided to go to the park and just sit there under a tree and did my budget, which was amazing. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm loving it for myself. I'm making it fun, and that's why it's not such a tedious thing for me to do anymore. When it comes to savings, I started saving. Yes, I still need to look into more accounts, savings accounts, or places where I can save my money, like stokvels and whatnot. But I did move some of my savings to a savings account, which yielded a lot of interest for me, more interest than what I was initially getting. But I still do believe that I can still find more ways to grow my money, look into investing, of course, and yeah, there's a lot of information out there. I learn something new almost every day, so I can still improve on what I've already started, but I love the fact that I've already started. I've taken up a few savings challenges as well, not a few, like two, and I made sure that I made the goal to be very much slow and small. It's not huge amounts, and I don't want to do something that would overwhelm me so much so that I get discouraged. So I started with a smaller amount, and I'm almost done with one of the challenges, and I saw that I'm capable. And obviously one of my goals for next year is to just increase the amounts and maybe the number of savings challenges that I'd be doing. But right now where I'm seated, I'm happy. Everything's going right when it comes to that area. And I'm still learning, like I'm saying, when it comes to investments and savings, um, opportunities and plans. And I've developed a savings plan for myself for next year. When it comes to the steps that I'll be covering throughout this series of me planning for 2024, I don't know if, yeah, I think because I did this previously and I think I'm going to stick to it, is a savings plan. A savings plan where I know what, say for instance, if there's a challenge that I've just completed, am I going to take that to the bank, or is this amount going to go to some of my sinking funds, my savings, clearing off debt? So I'm still working on that. It's work in progress. I'm not saying yes, I'm developing it. Let me just say I'm developing it. I'm still working through it, and I'll see where my numbers take me as time goes on. But for now, I have something in place for now, and we'll see after maybe 2 months or 3 months if that plan is working. Then we'll have to review it, and you'll also see that there's a step where you have to monitor and review all the time where you are. Is whatever the steps that you've put in place working for you, or not, you know? So when we move then to tracking, yes, I decided to face my fears. I decided to, you know what, go to the bank. I didn't even want to download it over my phone. I went to the bank, downloaded 6 months of my statements to see exactly where I was. And yeah, all the statements that I downloaded when I started. And yeah, from then on, I did things electronically once I started being in control, but I had to, see where I am financially. And then after that, all I'm doing mostly is just using my trackers. As you can see, this is just like from last month. There's a lot of tracking that I've done, and what I've also noticed is that I'm spending quite a lot. I think that I don't think there are areas where I really, really, really need to cut down on, and I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that. And yeah, I want to make it a bit shorter. My what's this? Weekly spending, it's just too much for me. I don't like it. I really don't like it. So that's it. I faced my fears. I started, and I can see a lot of improvement when it comes to my tracking. I can now account for every cent that has gone out of my bank, out of my wallet, actually. And then when it comes to debt, oh, I didn't mention here. Oh, I did. So when it comes to debt, I scheduled my payments and keep track of everything, because previously I would just pay as and when. I know the money's there. I've budgeted for whatever it is that I need to pay, the debt I need to pay. But I would budget the exact amount that needs to be paid off that monthly amounts, and I would pay it whenever. Sometimes it's after the due date and there's interest, and I can't see where I'm actually going. So now I've scheduled payments and I'm keeping track, because I've set them for 6 months each. So I need to go check after, constantly check, is the 6 months up? Is the schedule still on? And then I decided to take to do the snowball method, just finish off the smaller debts, which are very much small. There's just clothing accounts, which I can finish off very quickly. So the intention is to just start off with the smaller amounts and build up to the larger amounts. And then the last step is the budgeting, what are the lessons learned? I forgot to put the topic here, but it's what are the lessons learned? The lessons that I've learned is that budgeting is not just a once-off thing. You can't do it at the beginning of the year and think that, it cuts across, like you can use it the whole month, the whole year, or you can't just go look at your budget once, even in a month. It's something that you have to do. For me, I feel I have to do it on a weekly basis, and then I've learned that you need to be honest and realistic. Don't just budget based on what you want, budget based on what's really happening. And I've also learned that it's work in progress. I always have to shift things around, change numbers. What I started with when I started this journey and where I am right now, it's totally different. I think almost every month I have to chop and change things. Take this from this binder and put it in my daily wallet, or things are always changing. My sinking funds are changing all the time. Either adding something new or removing something which I feel, you know what, I really do not need this. And so, yeah, I'm not being hard on myself when it comes to budgeting. I do understand that it is work in progress. And then we move on to, I need to check something. Okay, everything's still okay. And then we move on to savings. Saving money is easy, and it doesn't have to be something so painful. I mean, there are many ways to save, and I know it can be very much difficult. I know when it comes to me, it used to be very much difficult, like put money away. I want to use it now, but it's really not that bad, especially if you know how to budget your money and channel it to the right places. Then you really do not need to worry about how much you're left with come month end. And for me, I've decided to take this route of just paying myself first. That's it. Pay myself first. Ensure that there's a debit order that goes through to one of my savings, and then from there I can deal with the savings challenges and the debts and everything else. But there's an amount that I have to put aside for myself, and there's an amount that I am already putting aside for myself, and I just need to work on my investment portfolios and whatnot. So that's it. That's what I've learned. There are many ways to save, and it's really easy. Tracking, I've learned that tracking should be done, like I said, on a weekly basis, and I have to commit to it. And honestly speaking, there's nothing to fear. If you know you're doing the right things and you know what you're looking for when you look at your bank statements, and you know that there's nothing to scare you there, then, I mean, do it. Look at your monthly statements and make sure you fix where you're not doing the right things, you know. And then lastly, we have debt. Like I said, debt can be avoided. Try avoiding debt as much as you can. If you don't have the money, budget for it. Simple as that. And just stick to pay dates, because paying interest rates unnecessarily, especially when the money is there, it's really not fun. So that's it, my beauties. When it comes to lessons learned, I'm gonna say that being intentional about your finances and making sure that they're in a healthy state, you're doing justice to yourself as well. Beginning of the year, and let me just say from 2020, I was diagnosed with depression. I was going through a lot, family-wise and life-wise in general. Things were just not okay with me. It was really bad that I had to be placed on antidepressants, and at some point, I had to fight with my psychiatrist to not go to a center because it was really that bad. But I thank God that I managed to get out of it. All those things that I mentioned, we would discuss with my psychologist. And a few months back, I came to her and I told her, you know what, I can see that we're talking about my parents passing. We're talking about this, we're talking about that. But I think the one other area that we're really not addressing here is the fact that I'm not handling my finances well. And they play a huge role in the way that I feel. Finances do play a huge role in your mental health, your mental state. And from the time that I started this whole financial journey, just being intentional and joining the community to where I am now, even my psychologist can attest to that. She always tells me, when you're in a much better mood, um, you, yeah, my mood has improved a lot. And it's funny how I somehow almost am managing to pull her into this community. I told her about it and she was like, I love that. I want to learn more. And yeah, so be kind to yourselves, but just being intentional about your money and your finances. And yeah, see how great you will feel. Now, my beauties, we've come to the end of our video. Please don't forget to comment, like, and share, and please do subscribe. Please tell your aunties, your grandma, your mom, dad, cousins, everybody, your neighbor, you know, to come through and subscribe. And until next time, my beauties, happy budgetings. Love you long time. Bye.